So hey everybody, and welcome back to another video on my channel discussing the vagus nerve and how we have this immense capacity as human beings to heal ourselves. There is so much that we can do, so many simple adjustments that we can make to our life to help us feel happier and healthier. And key to that is my own recovery. And I share on this channel tips and ideas how I recovered from extreme anxiety, PTSD, so many autoimmune issues, leaky gut, asthma, bronchitis, sinusitis, chronic pain, headaches. I had them all. My body was screaming at me to pay attention, but I wasn't. So this channel is all about helping you guys. And I'm super excited to announce that I've now just set up a new Patreon page, and you can go and visit that, Justin Caffrey, on Patreon. Just consider the price of a Starbucks coffee to support my video and my work on here. It just means that I can continue to deliver great content to you guys, and hopefully we can share the ideas and ways to recover and bring back homeostasis, the capacity to balance everything in the body. So today we're going to talk about routine and structure in your day. What do I do on a daily basis in order to keep myself in good shape and feeling happy? I think first of all, it's worth pointing out that we have to manage our food, our diet, our nutrients. We are no different to my little friend here. So the weather has been really warm at the moment, and I haven't been in my office for a few days because it's the weekend when I'm recording this. And this little guy is a little bit dry. He's struggling a bit. And this plant is just like you and I. He's nature, you're nature, I'm nature. And we have to maintain the nature of these beings. We have to keep them in sync. And I want to just walk you through my day and some of the things that I do in order to do that. And most importantly, realizing that key to all of this is my vagus nerve. If I can sustain and maintain my vagal tone resonating at a point where I'm happy and healthy and content, I keep anxiety, stress, and depression at bay. But it's not easy, because imagine if I've had 40 years of my life telling myself that I'm not good enough, castigating myself because of things that may have happened. Many of you may know my own story where my son died 10 years ago, and I went through a whole period of blame on myself, blaming myself for his death. And I persecuted myself into the ground for 5 years, punishing myself with words and demeaning language. So if we're going to build a routine, we have to realize from the get-go that we're going to be building a routine that is undoing however many of years in the past you have been doing something bad to yourself. And imagine if every day of the week you tell yourself 10 times you're not good enough, or you don't like yourself. That's 10 times a day, 7 days a week. That's 70 times a week you are now saying that. So 7 4 is 28, 280 times a month you were doing that. Let's build that out. That's like 3,500, 4,000 a year, give or take. And then you do it for 10 years, 40,000, 80,000 for 20 years. My God, you see where the numbers are going. So what we have to do is we have to beat the number. So the reality is the vagus nerve, the tone of the nervous system, the mind and the body has listened to a certain type of language for so long. And now we're going to introduce a new process. So it's important when you start to bring these changes into your life that you bring an element of patience. Recovery is slow and steady. And why do I do all the things that I do each day? Because I remember how miserable I felt. And I do not want to go back to that space. I do not want to go back to that place of misery. I want to sustain and maintain this mindset. And when I teach corporates or individuals about resilience and growth, it's important to realize that we can't just accept that everything's going to be okay and that we don't need to mind ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, just like my little green friend here, if I hadn't have come in today, because we've had some extremely warm days in Ireland, which is incredibly unusual, but if I hadn't have come in today to take care of my little friend, he probably wouldn't make it through the next couple of days. And imagine that within us, there is a plant, a root, and a branch system, something that wanders all the way through our body, from our brain right down through all of our major organs. This wandering nerve, the vagus nerve. And we need to take care of it. We need to manage it. We need to nourish and nurture it. And if we don't and it starts to wither, then we suffer the pain and consequence. So let me talk you through the day. So most importantly, the best way to start your day is by ending the day before well. Sleep is my number one most important thing that I use to manage my health and well-being. So I make sure that I have a routine that gets me to bed, knowing how much I need to sleep. So for me, I've studied my sleep for a long time. I know, sad and all as it is, that I need about 7 hours and 25 minutes. That's my optimum sleep level. I love sleep. So I have to be in bed knowing what time I wake up at. So generally I'm a 5 a.m. starter. So I'm normally heading off to bed at like 20 past, 9:15 in the evening time. If you're awake at 6, if you're awake at 7, you can work backwards, and you can use a diary system to manage your time. Start understanding how you feel after different times that you've slept the night before. So most importantly, sleep is number one. So I'm waking up in the morning refreshed because I've managed my sleep the night before. And then my go-to position is some water. I just want to hydrate my body as soon as I wake up. And the hydration of the water in the body just helps your body realize, hey, we're awake, it's the morning time, it's okay. And all of our systems start to go online. So you're bringing the body online. So that's the next phase of my day. Just letting my body know, hey, look, I'm awake, I'm ready to go. And to just get ready for the next step, which is one of the most beautiful parts of my day, my meditation. So I've hydrated, I've brushed my teeth, and then I go and sit for meditation. Now, personally, I've been meditating for over 8 years. And sometimes when I'm going through difficult times in my life, I will increase the amount of meditation. But I'm going to be honest, the reality is most times my meditation is between 20 and 25 minutes. But simply put, I sit for 20, 25 minutes, paying attention to my thoughts and allowing them to slowly disappear and find moments. When I say moments, I mean seconds without thought. So I'm not going to go into meditation here. That's just a form of meditation that I use. There are many forms, but principally the most important thing is showing up for yourself. And that can even be just simply sitting with yourself for 5 or 10 minutes if you haven't explored meditation yet. But it's just that way of connecting to the nervous system. And what you do is you close your eyes and you're saying to the vagus nerve, you're saying to your mind and your body, I'm okay right now. I'm paying attention to myself. I'm putting my own face mask on before I go and tend to anybody else. It's the first priority. And it's a simple way to approach living. So once I've done that, I finish my meditation, I then get out of bed and I'm out for a walk in nature. I typically aim between 13 and 15,000 steps a day. And my focus is to be in nature wherever I can. I'm so blessed that I'm in a beautiful place in Ireland, in Greystones, where I have the sea and I have the mountains, so I can be outside. But accessing nature in whatever form you can is so healing. And again, we have fantastic data to show the benefits of healing in terms of the vagus nerve. So slowing down and paying attention to yourself within your meditation practice, but then going out and establishing and connecting to the rich vibrance of nature in whatever form it is, in whatever season it is, just connecting to greenery, touching plants if you can, allowing your scent to just feel and embrace nature. It helps your microbiome, which again helps your vagus nerve. So the benefits are huge. The movement is fantastic. If you can get your steps up to 10,000 steps a day, you're already helping your own cardiovascular system and your fitness. And again, in terms of the vagal tone, one of the things that's important to watch is your body weight. So if we can also build in healthy exercise and reduce excess body weight, which I know is super tough, but it will again improve your vagal tone and improve your vagus nerve. So being outside, being in nature and moving is a huge part of my day. So I will do that, and I'm lucky where I can walk. I go to the beach, and I'll also take a swim. That is in Ireland. And even on today, a day like today where it's super hot and the plant in my office is struggling, the water is always cold. Our sea is always cold. Throughout the year, I will swim in cold water. And when you go and swim in cold water, and don't just do it as a one-off. And again, if you want to see a more detailed video on cold water swimming, you can check the video out on my YouTube channel where I go into a deeper dive into cold water, pardon the pun. But cold water, as you move into it, we have a dorsal vagal response, which is here around the facial sensors. The vagus nerve picks up the cold water and it adapts our breathing, and it connects into the parasympathetic nature of the vagus nerve. It's a beautiful way to help the body heal. Cold water is medicine of nature. It's phenomenal. If you haven't swam before, be careful. If it's your first time, be careful. And know that when you go into cold water, what's important, especially for the vagus nerve, is you've got to get your shoulders under the water. So just kneel in cold water at the beach. You don't need to go out of your depth. You don't need to put yourself under any adverse conditions or stress. You need to be in there for 3 to 4 minutes for the vagal response to kick in and for the sympathetic to move to parasympathetic. But if you have a busy, chattering mind, go down to the sea. So then I'll spend some time in the sea, generally floating, a bit of swimming, but just allowing my body and mind commune and connect. Simple as that. Then I come out of the water, and when I come out of the water, I'll do some very simple yoga movements just to open up the neck. I released a video last week just on these moves. It's a 5 or 6 minute routine that I try to throw into my day 2 or 3 times a day, wherever I can. If you want to check it out, have a look back at the video. But again, this is some beautiful moves by Dr. Hauser, who's a fantastic resource in terms of the vagus nerve. And a lot of his research work was around how do we manage and maintain the neck. So a really important thing is that we're all looking down too much because we're on our phones. And that movement constricts the back of the neck, which impedes the vagus nerve, which in turn creates anxiety and stress in the body. So that movement, that yoga connection is so important. A beautiful thing that I noticed as well is that if you think about the vagus nerve as it wanders throughout the body, my teacher, one of my most important teachers in my life, Dr. Pradeep Chadha, made a wonderful observation to me when I spoke to him about the vagus nerve. And he said, it's like the Kundalini in Kundalini yoga. Kundalini also wraps itself around all of the key points and parts of the body. So the wisdom around the vagus nerve and Kundalini has existed for thousands of years. But hey, in the West, we want to consider the fact that we figured it out in the last 20 years, and that's okay. If we need evidence, that's fine. So after those movements, I'm back into my steps, and then I'll head home. Part of my life is intermittent fasting as well. So for me personally, I usually eat inside a 5-hour window. So my day and all these movements will bring me to a point in the morning where I'll generally start breakfast at like 10 or 10:30. And then once that moment kicks off, the clock starts ticking and I have 5 hours. You can have a 5-hour window, a 6-hour window, a 7-hour window, an 8-hour window. That's all fine. If you want to explore intermittent fasting, that's absolutely okay. I'm going to do a more detailed video on intermittent fasting coming up in the next couple of weeks. But again, we have fantastic resources to show the benefits for our vagal tone, to enhance the vagus nerve, and to improve our well-being. It also directly impacts our microbiome and helps our microbiome become happier, healthier, and more vibrant. It also improves sleep. So by using intermittent fasting, it means that you stop eating at an early enough time so that the digestive process has come to an end, time for you to head off to sleep. So you're giving your body a chance to rest and rest properly. So again, I'll be using intermittent fasting throughout the day. And then my diet. So I'm plant-based and I don't eat meat, and I haven't done for over, I think, 5 years now at this stage. And I'm very careful about what I eat. I don't eat processed foods. I want to have a whole food, plant-based diet. And that's a lot of good food as well. So a lot of my food intake will probably be 30-40% raw fruits, vegetables where I can throughout the day. And again, taking into account seasonality. But then what I'm going to eat for the rest of the time, it will be cooked and prepared. It won't be processed. And it means that I'm nourishing and nurturing my body in the best way that I possibly can. And on the 5-hour window, I'll generally eat twice. So I'll have breakfast and then I'll have my main meal, usually around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I've been doing intermittent fasting for so long that my body's very comfortable with it. If you're going to start it, please make sure that you do it in a window that works for you. Don't start at 5 hours. It's extreme to start off with. Start with, 8 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating, so that you have enough time to adapt or look at the different ways and methods of doing it. But I find it works really well for me and it really helps me. And then in terms of hydration, I'm always drinking water throughout the day, and I will carry a beaker like this, which has just run out of water because I need to drink more water now. But I will be filling that up and making sure that I'm hitting 2 to 2.5 liters of water a day. If it's a hot day, if I'm moving more, then I need more hydration. Just be aware of hydration. Again, it's so important. It helps the microbiome, it helps the body, and it helps you avoid bad habits too in terms of eating things that may not be helpful because you're thirsty, and thirst drives a desire for sugar. And that's not what we want. So thanks for being here. You can find me also on Instagram. Check out justin.caffrey on Instagram. You'll also find me on LinkedIn. Just search up Justin Caffrey. I share lots of daily hints and tips and stories. I'm always posting stuff on Instagram, so definitely come over there. Follow me on that. Please let me know you've come from YouTube. I'd love to know that my audience is coming across, because they tend to be different audiences. And again, please like and subscribe. This content, it means so much to me. We're just heading up to 7,000 subscribers. I'm so excited where we're going in numbers. It gives me the desire and passion to keep doing this. It takes time and effort to record videos and then edit them and get them up and get them out to you guys. So please do support me. If that's as simple as subscribing and liking and sharing my content, that means so much to me. Putting a comment on there is fantastic. Or also, if you feel so inclined, I've just put up a Patreon page, and check out Justin Caffrey on Patreon. And if you can give something over there, it's fantastic, because I want to keep producing good content to help everybody understand that we can get better. We don't need to get bitter. We can get better. We can heal ourselves. Slow and steady wins this race, one foot in front of the other. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Again, I'm sending you so much love and appreciation, and I hope wherever you are on your journey, you are staying safe, you are doing the best that you can, and it's important to accept yourself wherever you are right now, because tomorrow is an opportunity to do a little bit more, to keep going, to build that resilient mindset, to raise that vagal tone, and to find homeostasis and balance in your life.